All right, we call this regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees to order on Thursday, December 11th, 2025 at 6:31 p.m. I get a roll call, please.
Falls, Giraffe here.
Mays here.
Brianna Texoni here.
Mascon here. Subject C, agenda. Get a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Eric, Dr. Saki.
Thank you. December 11th, board agenda stands as is, no changes. Thank you.
Discussion? Call the question.
Falls, Giraffe, aye.
Mays aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Mascon, aye. Flag salute?
Sure.
I mean, it's on.
Yeah.
All right. Ms. Van Orn, would you lead us? Mr. Fallsgrave, would you please read the civility statement?
When conducting the district's business, we will strive to communicate clearly and concisely with respect for the time of others, listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others, understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors, understand and respect district's policies and procedures, and maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past.
Thank you, Mr. Fallsgrave. Item 3, board reorganization. First, office of the president. And I'd like to call for nominations for the office of the president of the Board of Trustees. And I would like to nominate Ms. Taxoni. Do you accept?
Thank you. I do.
Can I get is there anybody second?
I'll second.
Call the question.
Falls, Giraffe, aye.
Mays aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Mascon, aye. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm excited.
I'll leave the rest of it to you. We do.
Hey.
All right. 3B, office of the vice president. Call for nomination for the office of the vice president of the Board of Trustees. I would like to nominate Bill Mays for the office of vice president.
I'll second that.
I will accept.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor?
Mascon, aye.
Falls, Giraffe, aye.
Mays aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye, with one absent. Bill has been appointed to the, as AADOSD Board of Trustees Vice President. C, Office of the Clerk. I would like to nominate Dr. George De Jesus for the office of clerk. And I know that he is absent, but I did talk to him today, and he said that he would like that position.
I'll second that.
All right, call for question. All those in favor?
Mascon, aye.
Falls, Giraffe, aye.
Mays aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye, with one absent. George De Jesus is our board clerk. D, appointment of secretary to the Board of Trustees. It's the recommendation of the board to appoint Dr. Eric Sahakian, superintendent, to act as the secretary of the Board of Trustees. I will move.
I'll second.
Mascon, aye.
Falls Draft, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye with one absent. Selection of representative to the Antelope Valley School Boards Association. Do we have any nominations?
That's the one you enjoy doing, right?
I have been doing it for the past couple of years, and I do enjoy it. But I would be willing, and my feelings wouldn't be hurt if somebody else wants to jump in and take that on and get involved with Antelope Valley School Board Association.
I would like to nominate Ms. Texoni.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Falls Draft,
Mask on, aye.
Falls Draft, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye with one absent. All right, subject F, selection of representative to California School Board Association Legislative Network. Can I get a nomination? This past year, this was held by George De Jesus, and previous to that, it was held by Mr. Fallsgraf, I believe.
What's it entail?
Ken, would you mind letting us know what that entails, since you have done that position before?
It entails me being very elderly and not being able to remember.
So do you know, can you tell us what that entails? I've
Sure.
never sat on that board.
Sure. So the legislative network, they actually provide the liaison for the school board who's been nominated. They'll provide the legislative updates, policy updates, so they could actually disseminate it to their colleagues, their peers on the board.
Sounds like something you'd be great at, Bill. I would like to nominate Bill Mays for that position. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Mask on, aye.
Falls Draft, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye with one absent. So Bill has been voted in as representative to California School Boards Association Legislative Network. G, selection of board representative to the Los Angeles County Schools Trustee Association.
Blackstone.
Currently, this position is being held by Lester. Lester, would you like to continue this? Then I would like to nominate Lester into this position again.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Mask on, aye.
Falls Draft, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye with one absent. So Lester is our LAXTA representative. All right, Resolution 2025-26.10, certification of signatures. I'm going to go ahead and move it in.
I'll second.
Do you have anything to add?
Just that the certification of signatures has to do with the board reorganization, as we normally do at this point in time.
Fantastic discussion. All those in favor?
Mask on, aye.
Falls Draft, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. All right, the reorganization is complete. Moving on to 4A, public participation. Do we have any public participation?
Not at this time, thank you.
And 5A, closed session discussion items. We may discuss conference with labor negotiators, public employee discussion, discipline, dismissal, release, conference with legal counsel, and/or student matters. 5B, adjourn to closed session. I move that we adjourn at 6:40. Can I get a second? All those in favor?
Mask on, aye.
Falls Draft, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. Okay. All right, the regular board meeting of December 11th, 2025 will reconvene at 7:33 PM. We'll go ahead and start with the flag salute. Can I have our wonderful Miss Lepp lead us in the flag salute? Thank you. 6B, civility statement. Mr. Falsgraf, can you please read the civility statement?
Thank you. When conducting the district's business, we will strive to communicate clearly and concisely with a respect for the time of others, listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others, understand the counterproductive effects of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors, understand and respect district policies and procedures, and maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past.
Thank you. 7A, report of action taken in closed session. There was no action taken. 8A, public comments, recognition, and reports. Dr. Sahakian?
We don't have any public comments online or in person. Thank you.
All right, moving on. 9A, ADA representative. All right.
Hello. I don't. Oh,
Hi, Carrie.
hi. I don't have a lot to say. I was just wanted to hop on and let everybody know that Ada is wishing everybody a happy holiday and a happy new year. And that's pretty much about it. I'm hoping giving everybody well wishes this season.
Thank you. Same to you. And same to your ADA family.
Thank you.
CSBA or CSEA representative? Nobody. 9C, student representative to the board. Our amazing student rep could not be here, but she did provide a report for us.
Yes, so I'll be speaking on behalf of Autumn Klaus. So thank you, Autumn, for being so diligent as you always are and preparing a report for tonight. So for Meadowlark and Little Owls Learning Center, our students on both campuses came back from Thanksgiving break refreshed and ready to learn. Both campuses have been completing some end of the semester assessments and preparing academic reports for parents. Little Owls, students have been completing many holiday projects along with their daily instruction. Today, each class had an opportunity to make Christmas ornaments, holiday ornaments, enjoy some hot chocolate, and were visited by Santa. Meadowlark, hallways are decorated with classroom holiday art and projects. The SOAR program is finding its rhythm and helping many students in the area of reading, readiness skills, reading, and writing. For High Desert, 67th day of school in middle school fashion. Our staff had some fun dressing up with 6-7. Oh, don't get my 8-year-old boy started with 6-7, please. Or 18-year-olds. Yeah.
I have no idea what they're talking about. I have no desire to understand what they're talking about.
Safe that way. It's a big deal if you're a middle schooler, right? Parent workshop. Monday, November 17th, we had a great turnout for the parent workshop on grief, loss, and resilience. The LA County Department of Mental Health, along with our counseling team, presented about ways that parents can help their students and themselves with grief and loss to promote resilience. 5th grade field trip to Griffith Observatory. Our 5th grade students spent the day learning about our amazing solar system at the observatory on November 19th. Music concert. Miss Emma did incredible work with our students for the winter concert last night. Our 5th and 6th grade students sang their hearts out and really shined. Our 7th 7th and 8th grade students performed on our new musical instruments courtesy of the Arts Grant. We are grateful for the arts program in our schools. Upcoming events, Science Olympiad. We have formed a small but mighty team for the first time since COVID. Miss Alford, fantastic Miss Alford, we love her, is working with them and recruited Mr. Spielman, our former Science Olympiad coach, to help them get ready for the competition in February. Athletics, varsity flag football. The flag football championship game is next Tuesday at High Desert. We invite everyone to join us at High Desert to cheer on our Hawks. Moving on to Vasquez High School. Highlights, our class of 2027 had a great turnout at the December 7th fundraiser at DeBellis Farm. Kids saw Santa, decorated ornaments, and enjoy snacks, food from different vendors. On December 9th, counseling team administered the ASVAB exam to students that signed up. December 10th, we had a successful ELAC parent group that shared great insights and posed questions related to student achievement and social emotional supports on the campus that are much appreciated. Finals are next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Students are prepping for this culminating week of the semester. Athletics, girls volleyball had its most successful season in 8 years. They won more games this season than the last 4 years combined. First team all leagues, Danielle Escamilla, and team all-league Jocelyn Ochoa. Congratulations to them. Football had a great season, finished second in league. 5 players earned all-league honors. 2025 Manzanita League Football All-League First Team and 2025 National Football Foundation and College Hall of Fame Senior All-Star Football Game hosted by LA Rams, Zach Van Ornum, Jaden Ganiso, Javier Gonzalez, Jaden Lopez. Second team, Leo Rivas, Blake Mascone, Ethan Kajeric. All CIF, Zach Van Ornum and Jaden Lopez. Congratulations to you all. Cross country. The girls team had a very strong showing at league's final and finished in second place. The boys shocked the league by moving up to 5th place. Girls honors first team Heritage League Ivy Rios and second team Riley Larson and Haley Haneke. The girls qualified for CIF and achieved a school best 6th place finish. Flag football qualified for CIF playoffs and advanced to the semifinal game. 7 players received league and county honors. Daniela Escamilla, Elizabeth Rose, Esther Rivas, Olivia Mays, Faith Nasrallah, and Jenna Lee. Elizabeth Rose was also selected for the LA County Senior All-Star Game. Congratulations to you all. That is the student rep report. Autumn, you owe me one. There you go.
I would have encouraged her to make it much longer if I had.
Thank you, Lester. Appreciate that. I almost forgot your last name.
Thank you, Autumn, for supplying the report. Even though you are feeling under the weather, we do appreciate your effort. And thank you, Dr. Sahaki, you read that well. Subject D, Superintendent Report.
All right. Tonight I'll just focus in on one goal, community engagement. Now, there's plenty of that, so we're always grateful for our community partners. Speaking of which, Parade of Tables on December 6th. The district had the pleasure of participating in this wonderful community tradition. The Parade of Tables showcased beautifully themed table displays, collaboration, and dedication of the Agua Dulce Women's Club. It was a wonderful opportunity to engage with community members, honor the club's contributions to our district, and appreciate the sense of connection and pride the event fosters year to year. Thank you again to the Agua Dulce Women's Club for the annual invitation. Always a fun time. Moving forward, the winter concert. Yesterday, having attended the standing room only at our winter concert showcasing both Meadowlark and High Desert scholars. Congratulations are in order for our students, staff, and parents, and thank you for bringing this community together. It was an exciting evening, and I have a short 2 clips of some of the songs and performances. Alex, thank you. right, thank you, students. You're all fantastic. And finally, as we head into our winter break over the next week, I want to wish our families, community, a happy holiday season. Hope you enjoy this break and spend time with your loved ones. We look forward to seeing our students back on January 13th, which I believe is a Tuesday. Be safe and enjoy the winter break. Thank you. Yes, and the second clip, they were only practicing for 6 weeks, our High Desert students, so kudos to High Desert. And, of course, Miss Emma Benatar. They did a phenomenal job. They all did. Thank you for the reminder.
Thank you. Subject E, Facilities and Finance Subcommittee Report.
The Facilities and Finance Committee had a meeting on December 8th. We talked about the new housing development and what it looks like as far as their commitment to our school district and funding. The people that we've hired to try and communicate with them is having a hard time getting in touch with them for them to give us the paperwork we're looking for. So that is something their consultants are working on at this point. The other thing we looked at is the traffic study for Metal Arc and trying to divert traffic around to make it much more safe for everybody and user-friendly for the community. So we've got some positive input, but we know that there's ways to go, so they're still working on that. So that's pretty much what we talked about, other than future agenda items. That's it.
Thank you. Subject F, Education Subcommittee Report. We have not had a meeting since our last meeting, but I am looking forward to seeing the presentation that we saw in our last meeting tonight with our fantastic counselor and Acellus teachers. So looking forward to that later in this meeting. Subject G, Policy and Finance Subcommittee Report.
Good evening. We had a brief meeting today in which staff brought forward the policies that apply to assistant coaches. I think we might need another table back there. But part of the discussion as to whether or not the qualifications are related to the service of students, training, safety, candor, things like that, that they would be embedded into the screening process. So when people that are on staff that have first rights, there's still applications involved. Anyone who comes on after that from the outside as a volunteer stipend position, that box is on your application. So what that means is if you don't have the required training, and when you fill out your own application, when you leave boxes empty, suddenly you don't show up on the list over here. And I think you're going to see that more in application screening across the board with HR when it comes to recruiting. So that was that. Thank you, staff.
Thank you. H, submissions.
We don't have any submissions this evening, but we will for the new calendar year. Thank you.
Thank you. 10A, approval of consent calendar items 8B through 8J. I'll go ahead and move this in.
I'll second.
Dr. Sahakian?
If there are any questions regarding any of the items for the consent, I'm more than happy to go ahead and respond to.
Discussion, or does anybody want to pull any of the items?
Yeah, can we pull the gift donation form, please?
Okay, so subject I, and I would like to pull subject G, the Power School contract. Anything else? All right, so we are going to vote on the consent calendar, items B through J, with the exception of G and I.
Mascon, aye.
Falls Graph, aye.
Meza.
Brianna Taxoni, aye, with one absent. All right, moving down to subject G, Power School. I can start the discussion. Does anybody have anything? Hearing,
should move it in.
oh yes, let's move it in. I'll go ahead and move that item in.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ken. Lester, second. Okay, so now discussion, now that it's moved in?
Can we get an explanation from staff or a discussion? Description
Sure.
from staff?
I'm happy to reintroduce. So we are revisiting the Power School platform in support of the efficiency of the Human Resources Office. We're recommending approval of the three-year contract not to exceed as listed in the agenda, $38,230.25, January 1st through June 30th, 2028. For the remainder of this fiscal cycle, January through June, the contract amount is $4,160.52. The breakdown of additional years is listed in the proposal as attached.
Thank you. Discussion?
So as this has come back around a couple times now, you obviously feel that this will mitigate some issues that we've experienced?
Yes, the platform does help support the, again, efficiency of human resources. We had a great presentation most recently at Policy regarding Power School, and I know that there was a representative available to answer any questions at that subcommittee meeting and talking about some of the new legislation that's been put into place as far as hiring practices. I do know that I see him on our Zoom screen. We do have that representative. Ms. Erdrich, would you do the introduction so he can perhaps discuss some of the measures that Power School...
I don't think I specifically want to hear from
Okay.
the vendor. I just want to hear what staff wants to do, and obviously you're putting it forward, so you'd like to have
Yes, so we
this
do
product.
recommend the approval of the
Understood.
proposal contract. Thank you.
And this is within budget? No effect to budget?
Yes.
I have no more questions.
I'll hold my comments unless looping back becomes necessary.
Do you have anything?
I don't have any-
Have there been any changes from when we heard the presentation the first time to now?
Yes. So Ms. Erdrich, would you like to explain to us some of the new policies and legislation as far as hiring practices and how Power School helps to facilitate that, please?
One of the biggest changes has been the AB 2534, that every employee has to fill that out on the application. That is something that when they apply now, it will be specifically on the application stated that should they leave anything out, that would be grounds for termination. Also, the Power School will be able to send out all of that information and be sure that we get it back from each district that they have listed, to be sure that we have that information so that we have really a good view and choices when we offer a position. They also maintain all the documentation and make sure that everything is collected. For example, the I-9, the state and federal tax withholding, the deposit, et cetera. They will make sure that all of that documentation is received and in place before we move forward. Same with the Keenan trainees, so they will maintain records of everything to be sure that nothing is missed. Because one of the things that we found was an employee who had been here over 8 years had never turned in the form, for example, for the life insurance policy that the district covers. So that was something that was missed back then and had not been taught until recent. So those are the kinds of things that they will support in making sure that everything is in place.
Is this only for new employees, or how will all of the current employees, if there's anything, like you just said, that had been missed?
When we do the onboarding, we can have them enter all the employees, and we can go through the personnel files, mark everything off. And then new employees, as they come in, will go through the system. So everything will still be advertised on EdJoin. When the employee says, oh, I want to apply at Acton Agua Dulce, and they get to apply, it's going to direct them to the application at Power School. So that way it is catered to what we have requested. So, for example, as Mr. Fallsgraff was talking about the qualifications to be able to be a coach, we can customize those documents.
So as far as the applying process, right now, we can't do that when we're applying directly on EdJoin?
No, ma'am. Because if
Interesting.
everyone controls that, they don't change anything. It's just a standard application that, everybody on EdJoin uses.
Interesting. I've used it several times, but I've never seen it from the back end.
Anything else I can answer?
Would anyone care to hear the recommendation of policy and management subcommittee? Yeah, our focus was on me finding out that someone did something at 3 other schools and having people who are half intoxicated in this room yelling at me, like somehow that's going to affect how I feel, us being embarrassed as a district, other employees and groups of employees being embarrassed, all because somebody chose not to reveal something, and then when we have a lawyer make a complaint, which you'll never hear about, we were told that California teaching credential people their hands are handcuffed for 2 years, and these people just float around. That's my focus. I don't need 2 top fashion shows. I think I'll stop there. I've got a bunch of others. You know what I'm saying. I see a lot of smiles out there. This district runs around with my name on it, and that means something to me. So when we have people who don't know how to talk to our athletes and think they're in some beer joint in Texas, I want to make sure that they understand that behavior is not appropriate. And there's one way to do that, and that's not to have the HR person. I actually like you. Every HR person, I have no use for HR, and believe me, they have no use for me. I'm a record holder in many different categories. But I need somebody to lie to me so I can fire them the first time that they disgrace the school district. Questions about any of that? No. Great.
I actually do have a question. So with what you're saying, you think that it's your opinion or your recommendation that,
Tammy just told you what I was going to say.
that Power School is going to mitigate some of these issues that we've been having?
A stack of papers that people have that have been on somebody's desk this deep, when somebody out there is trying to purposely not tell you what they did at their last school. Anything beats a stack of papers. How many staff members do you have?
Currently, it's over.
Let's do FTEs. It's 1 point what?
Well, we have currently over 150 employees.
No, the ones that are in charge of HR.
Oh, 1.
That seems excessive to me. But yeah, you know the stack of papers. Should we do a field tour to her office to see what our screening process looks like now? Yeah, I'm saying, well, let's just vote. You'll see how I feel.
Believe it or not, I've actually had to file those papers. That was my summer job one time. So I have seen the stack of papers. If there's no other discussion, we'll go ahead and vote.
Mascot, aye.
Falls Drive, obviously aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye, with 1 absent. And moving on to subject I, approval gift donation executive desk VHS CTE. Dr. Sahakian?
Yes, so on behalf of AADUSD, thank you to community member Mrs. Rebecca Smalling, who donated an executive desk worth approximately $500 to the VHS CT woodworking class, construction trades.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to go ahead and move that in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
I skipped that part.
I can repeat what I just said. No, I'm just,
I just wanted you to pull it so we could call out specifically and thank
Absolutely.
the community member that donated it. So that was the only purpose for pulling it for me. So thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. Call for question. All those in favor?
Mascot, aye.
Falls Drive, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye, with 1 absent. All right, 11A, personnel report. I'll move it in.
I'll second.
no changes to the PAR for this evening. Thank you.
Discussion?
Mascot, aye.
Falls Drive, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, no, with one absent. B, approval memorandum of understanding MOU between California School Employees Association, Chapter 473, and the Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District differential pay for medication administrative duties. Dr. Sahakian. Oh, I'll go ahead and move it in.
I'll second.
Thank you. So this MOU for the employee listed outlines a 5% differential pay for performing additional duties, retroactive to the first day of this academic calendar, 25-26 school year. Thank you.
Discussion? Hearing none, call for question. All those in favor?
Mask on.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. 11C, approval memorandum of understanding between California School Employees Association, Chapter 473, and the Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District, new classified job crossing guard. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Mr. Mays did mention this briefly as far as Meadowlark safety for drop-off and pickup at the most recent Facilities and Finance Subcommittee. About a year ago, we reached out to LA County Public Works and requested for a traffic study specifically for Meadowlark Elementary, particularly during the drop-off and pickup times, and as well as a request for a crossing guard through this study. Unfortunately, the crossing guard criteria was not met for the intersection of Wisconsin and Sacramento. Hence, internally, we developed a crossing guard job description that has been put forward here tonight for your approval. If approved, then we will move forward internally in the hiring process of a crossing guard for Meadowlark. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Mask on.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. 12A, presentation, Acellus Virtual Academy, CTE Pathways, VHS, and HDS.
All right. Mrs. Lepez, I think that's us. I'd like to thank our I'd like to thank our fantastic staff, Counselor Ms. Salcedo, Tosa, Ms. Lep. They are phenomenal, our leadership team, for the successes we've had through the Acellus program, our virtual academy, the expansion of our CTE pathways. They are fantastic, and our students are reaping the benefits of both programs. And tonight we have an informational presentation. So thank you, staff, for being here. Take it away.
We appreciate you being here. All of us together. We're all in this together. So we're just presenting specifically on Vasquez. I know it said High Desert, but
If you want High Desert, Michelle's right here.
yes, she will answer all the answers.
I'm sure she's thrilled with that suggestion.
Or just Vasquez. Okay, great.
Okay.
It sounds like
So-
Michelle's going to do a follow-up presentation on
Yes,
Acellus.
Or if you want to go back and watch the recordings from the Ed Subcommittee, she did a fantastic job. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about CTE. So overarching that is our CCI indicator, so which is our college and career readiness. For those of you who remember, myself and Ms. Quezada, our other school counselor, we did a presentation on that in September of 24 on where we were currently at in the district and what our plans were moving forward. So I do have a little bit of an update on that specifically. So when we talk about our college and career indicator, so that on our California dashboard is measured in different areas. So in areas such as our state testing, AP scores, AP course participation, college participation and credits, state seal of biliteracy, A through G requirements. We don't fully have some of these areas, but these also are listed. So that's our leadership academies, work programs. We don't specifically have that, or internship. And then our CTE pathways. So specifically highlighting our CTE pathways, I'll get into a little bit more. But one of the things we mentioned previously, as we shifted in how it was being calculated for the CCI, like our college and career readiness indicator, what we were seeing is a lot of our data as it was being pulled from Aries into CalPads was missing or inaccurate, and those were all coding errors. So our students were doing amazing things, but it wasn't being tracked properly and submitted properly to the state. So our California dashboard was not fully highlighting all of the wonderful things that our students are doing in this district. So when we presented last time, we were at, the only information we had released at that time was the class of 2023, because the dashboard does not update until November. So we were waiting on the class of 24, but at that time, from 23 to 24, we had some increases in specific areas such as state testing. On some of our students had scored better, or more students were completing A through G categories, but there were certain areas that were still missing, such as our CTE pathways were not being coded correctly, or college course credit, things like that. So in the last year, counseling and the IT department has worked extremely hard on trying to fix those errors in our ARIES system and how it's being calculated. From what we've met with other districts at different conferences, whether that's the ARIES conference and also our CAS conferences, which is our school counseling conference for California, it usually takes about 2 to 3 years to clean up all of those issues if you're having this problem. Right now, as you can see, just from the class of 24 to the class of 25, in the area prepared, we had an increase of 25.9%. And we haven't even fixed everything. So we're still working on it, and that's a significant increase. And that's not even just including the programs that we've also added, which I'm going to talk about a little bit more. So when we first met with you guys in September, back then we talked about expanding our CTE pathways. So I'm happy to share that we have expanded not only our in-person CTE pathways, but with the addition of our Acellus program, we've also added online CTE pathways as well. So we mentioned that we were looking to expand, and we now have 8 CTE pathways on our little tiny high school campus of 421 students. So we currently have pathways in biomedical, construction, culinary, computer science, visual and performing arts, digital media arts, film production, and engineering. And keep in mind, these are including both concentrator and capstone courses that meet that CTE pathway requirement for the state. And as far as our Acellus program, which Ms. Lepp will get into a little bit of the nitty-gritty of that after I finish talking, but our 8 online programs that are now offered to our students as well is in electrical technology, HVAC technology, plumbing technology, information management, STEM, accounting, business management, and agriculture.
And this is going to be our first graduating class that we have students who have met these pathways, so it's really exciting that we're getting to utilize this. They're going to get their STOLs. They're on the right track, so it's very exciting.
So speaking of the STOLs, so that was one of the things that we shared with you in the past, that our vision for highlighting our students' achievement, specifically with the CTE pathways, at our annual Night of the Stars event, where we give out awards, not only just in the areas of academic coursework and athletics, we wanted to highlight what our students were doing with CTE. So we have awarded each one of our students who complete a CTE pathway with a STOL that indicates what pathway they completed, so they can also wear that at graduation as well. So last year at our Night of the Stars event, we awarded 70 students with those CTE STOLs. If you attended, you saw that we ran out of room on the stage. There was quite a lot. But that was not only just that year, but we also retroactively awarded students who had met the criteria prior to us doing that award. We didn't want to just award the students that had met it that year. We went back to any students that had met it in the last 4 years and retroactively awarded. Now, also with the expansion of our 2 additional CTE pathways since then, which is our VAPA program and our computer science, and along with our online programs and increased student interest, right now we are on track for students, another additional 80 students meeting that CTE pathway. So just wanted to highlight some of the updates and give you guys, because obviously we presented before, just wanted to share the great news that we're continuing to expand and move forward, and I hope next year we have a even higher increase in percentage for that CCI. Our goal is to get as close to 100 as possible, but that's just us.
Oh, I went the wrong way. So now on to Acellus. So we've already kind of addressed how Acellus meets with CTE pathways, but we really want to do an update about our program and how it's going. So once again, we're a unified school district, one high school, one middle school, one elementary school. Right now, we're having the biggest usage. We purchased 212 licenses, right, Paul? 212 licenses. And almost, the majority of that is being utilized at the high school at this moment. This past semester, we used every single one of them. So we're going to kind of go through a breakthrough of how we've been using these licenses and the increase of numbers over time, which has been really cool to see. Oh, yeah, here.
Okay. Okay. So we utilize our online program in 4 different ways. So we have students that are utilizing it for credit recovery. So this is students who did not pass a course previously. We utilize this for our summer school program as well, for students who are making up credits. We also use it for schedule conflicts. We are a very small school, so sometimes we do have students that when they're looking at 2 different courses, they may be offered in the same period. For example, if we have a student that's interested in taking AP Physics and AP US History, those are offered in the same period. So we can give them the option, hey, I know you're really interested in taking both of these classes. Would you be interested in taking one of these online? And we have them work in the computer lab. So that way we're not limiting their options as far as which courses they can take, despite the fact that we have a small size and sometimes classes are only offered during one period. We also have a blended program. So these are students that are taking at least 2 periods, sometimes more, classes online and also in person. So for example, we have students that their first and second period is online and they're working at home, and then they come in a little bit later and they do 3rd through 6th period in the afternoon, or vice versa. They are here from the beginning of the school day, and then after lunch they go home and they work on classes at home for 5th and 6th period. This has given us a lot of flexibility with student schedules, because we do have a lot of students in our schools that work, that have other programs that they're involved in, community things that they're involved in, and we just want to make sure that we give students as much opportunity to do all of their extracurriculars, whether that's also working, supporting their some of them are working on their farm at home and before they come in. There's different options, and each student is individual, and we want to give as much individuality in their schedule as possible. And then our full virtual program is our students who are working completely online, and that all of their classes are through Acellus, but they still are a part of our school. So these are students that are still allowed to participate in sports. They can come to our school events. They're invited on all of our field trips, any of our events on campus, any community things that we are involved in. They're a part of our club. So they're fully still a Vasquez student, but they're working online at home.
So first thing we wanted to highlight was our enrollment at Vasquez. This was fun to see. Over the years, we've felt it at the site going up and up and up and up. So this year we're at 421, which is amazing. So what this has to do with Acellus is I'm going to break down these numbers. I have them all up here all at once. I promise there's not going to be a test where I say, memorize this. But just to show how many students are utilizing the platform, we have 196 of our students who have a license out of 421. So about half of our school is using this, using one of the programs that Mrs. Salcedo mentioned. Going into that a bit more with credit recovery and schedule conflicts, I'm going to start first with these students, because these are our students who are utilizing Acellus on campus. So we have a little over 80 students this year. You can kind of see over time, this is more here just for information, so you can see our use of whether it was our former platform with Apex or our current usage with Acellus, just how we've been utilizing our online platforms in the past when it comes to schedule conflict and credit recovery. So out of the 212 licenses, we have a little bit over 80 utilized on campus. Through credit recovery, which is a little over 50, and then schedule conflicts. So do you want to explain this one a little bit, like the difference between the last slide and this slide?
So this is just indicating specifically where you see the increase. So as you can see, the schedule conflict kind of fluctuates, and that tends to fluctuate depending on staffing. So as we've sometimes reduced in staffing, there's a little less flexibility in the schedule, less options, and then we end up utilizing our schedule conflicts a little bit more. And then also recently with our expansion and some of our CTE and elective options, it's reduced because we have students taking more options as far as electives on campus versus online. But as you can see, the credit recovery comes pretty close to our increase in enrollment as well. And then also just to share with Acellus, what we've seen recently with credit recovery is it's not just our students that are looking to make up courses that they did not pass. We have actually had a huge increase in students who are also looking to meet the A through G requirements and retaking courses to improve their grades in them as well to meet those areas.
And then just to go over the other half of how we're using the rest of those 212 licenses so far. Once again, like I said, every single one is being used. I know I said 196, but it's because we've had kids, we've archived accounts since then because students have gotten out of credit recovery utilizing Acellus, so that's fantastic. And we have a lot more to go, so it's really nice because it's working. Here you can see a huge difference. So there's another graph that's going to show when it was just me working with all online and when we added additional staff to help. But essentially over the years, we've always had a good, healthy program when it comes to online learning. Last year is when we started utilizing Acellus full-time, and it got very popular. And this year, you know, we worked really, really hard as a district, as a team, to be able to promote Acellus, get it out there, share it amongst the community, share it amongst neighboring communities. And now we literally have students, I mean, all the time coming in saying, I'm coming because you have Acellus. And they are enrolling in our virtual, and especially our most, as you can see, looking at the light yellow, those are our blended learning students. They are most interested in taking some classes online, but they love coming in for certain things like construction, or they want to take AP English in person, you know, different. They like the flexibility of maybe even working online at home in the morning, you know, whatever, as what Mrs. Salcedo was mentioning. But the blended learning program has become huge because they really, really love that flexibility. And it just exploded this year. So we have about 110 accounts being used where they're using this at home. So now every single license that we have purchased has become maxed out. So that's amazing. It's really good because we were not there. I mean, if you look back to last year, we were utilizing 60. So to go from 60 to almost 110 is incredible. So this one's a little different. I don't want you to think that 331 students out of 421 are enrolled in Acellus. This is just to show you how many courses are being utilized. So of course, if I'm a teacher on campus, how many classrooms do you think a teacher would be teaching on our campus? Like five to six different courses. This just shows that, you know, me as a blended and online learning teacher, I had 331 courses to manage. So it's a lot for one person. So it's just showing that the number, now we've expanded so that there's more help to help me. Thank you, Ms. Scheide. Thank you, Ms. Chun. Like, they are lifesavers with this. They are incredible. Mr. Gaforian's also one of our Acellus teachers. Our team is just incredible with helping support these students and expand that, because managing 331 courses, we want to make sure our students have a lot of support around that. Okay, so this is the chart I was talking about. That dotted line, before that, that was all what I had. That was just my load. And then we added Mr. Gaforian in to support with our so he's the on-campus support teacher. I am the blended learning and virtual academy teacher. And then this year, once it got up above 400 and something courses, that's when we added more staffing to be able to help me, because that was just too much to handle. So it's just showing that it's a very healthy program. I can't thank you enough for getting Acellus. It has been... I'm going to, at the end of this semester, I'm also going to be collecting feedback from students and parents, just to be able to share with you as well, to see their feedback on how it's going has been amazing. Especially, you're about to see in these next couple slides how it's affected summer school and passage rates. But yeah, this is just to show you it's a very healthy program and how those licenses are split up. Oh, I thought I hid this. Sorry, I'm going to skip these only because I'm so sorry. Yeah, I had just talked about how it was all split up by basically by teacher, but I think we have a good idea of the amount of students per teacher. So sorry. Here we go. Here, summer school.
So last summer was the first time that we utilized Acellus for summer school. In years past, we utilized Apex. One of the big differences with Acellus, as we've shared in previous presentations, is that AI detection and the ability for the program to prevent students from just Googling the answers online and copy pasting it, which was a huge issue with Apex, where it created this lack of accountability and rigor, which is why we were looking at different options. Acellus also has a built-in vectored instruction, where anytime that they see that a student is struggling with a specific topic or concept, it automatically provides them instruction in that area and pauses where they're at in their current course to give them kind of that gap filler as far as their instruction. So with that, we have seen a huge increase in success rate in both our credit recovery and our online program. Just in summer school last year, out of the 140 students, 128 of those 140 finished with being on track. And then all of our students at least recovered at least 5 credits or 1 semester of a course from summer school. So it was a huge success for just summer school alone last year. And then as far as a comparison from our previous program, Apex to Acellus, so at this time, in the first progress report in fall of 2023, we had 465 courses total being utilized. Of that, only 75%, roughly 75.9 to be exact, were currently passing. In comparison to Acellus, even with the increase in the enrollment in it and the number of courses being utilized, that passing rate increased to that 94.9%. And as I mentioned, that is completely eliminating the ability for students to just copy paste information. So they're actually having to learn the material, showing that they're learning the material, and they can't just click their way through. So that vectored instruction piece that comes with Acellus is huge as far as showing student progress and success, and it also shows areas in which they're struggling, so it provides more input for the teachers managing the program as far as areas that they need feedback in and how to additionally support them.
And then future plans with Acellus, where I see this going. I just attended the conference, the Acellus conference, and the head honcho, Dr. Roger Billings, talked about the online learning is incredible, especially Acellus, right? But there's also the personal touch of a teacher that is incredibly important. I don't think any of us believe technology could ever replace a teacher. And something that I think is important is to address that they hit the nail on the head on this one. And they said Acellus does really well. There's something called Bloom's taxonomy when it comes to learning. So the basic understandings of knowledge and application. Acellus is really, really great at hitting those first 3 levels of Bloom's, those building blocks for instant recall. The part where the teacher comes in is utilizing something called special lessons within Acellus. This is where they're using their project-based learning, their application, basically turning in something that goes beyond the teacher's desk and out into the community. For example, we're talking about CTE pathways with virtual. Now that we have more staff, we're able, one of my goals is to utilize these special lessons to eventually do CTE portfolios. So for example, if we have someone within a business pathway and they're interested in cosmetology, something I see that would be wonderful is there's special lessons built within Acellus so that I could utilize a project-based learning aspect where they're taking their learning of the online learning, building a portfolio within business management, coming up with a marketing business plan for that portfolio so that when they graduate high school, they have something readily available, whether that's for college, trade school, building their own business, whatever, what have you. But taking it now beyond that, those first 3 levels of Bloom's and putting that personal touch is definitely something that we are looking to build more towards. Utilizing the report section, so we're really maximizing the data to see how students are performing. Programs, making sure that our students in ELD and SPED also have equal access. They do, it's just we just got a grant that embeds SPED within Acela, so it tracks goals and see how they're doing. So that's a really exciting thing that, yeah, it was a $60,000 grant that we got, right? Through Acela. Yep, so we've been utilizing that, and we just got training on that. And then professional development. There's another professional development coming up in March where I get to learn more about this and bring it back to our sites. So that's kind of where we see it going. Sorry, I've talked a lot, but do you have any questions for us?
I just wanted to start saying your enthusiasm is infectious. So, I mean, it's obvious you guys very much care about this program, and I'm thrilled to see the success you've had, and especially all the CTE pathways. That's really cool. You mentioned that the dashboards had approved by 25.9%. It actually approved by 53%.
So
What do you look at as 25.9
53
points?
is how many, like if we're looking at 2 years, yes.
Yeah.
So if we're going across 2 years, but just from 24 to 25.
Yeah, it's fantastic though to see that
But
that,
yes,
that,
just in
that
that
much
short amount
improvement.
of time. And even when we were working with other districts and meeting with people at conferences, they were actually shocked at how quickly we were able to do that. And once again, I just have to say that's with our partnership with IT. They've been fantastic at digging into the reports with us and really trying to make sure that we're tracking all areas, because obviously a teacher look at areas, a counselor look at areas, an administrator from a district view areas. Each one of us are utilizing it in a different way, and we have to collaborate as a team to make sure that that's all accurate.
I mean, with the level of enthusiasm you both have for it, it's obvious why it's been successful. So thank you for everything you're doing with it, and thank you for offering this level of flexibility for our students, and then, you know, creating the ability to meet them where they're at with their schedule and their time and what they need for credit recovery. It's good.
People that weren't coming to our schools and were staying at home and being completely underserved, ranging from illiteracy, depending on a parent like me to teach you something, which would be a complete failure, and or there are some discipline problems, behavioral problems, sensory problems, la la la. So do you have to be enrolled to use this program?
Yes.
So let's say that I'm in Lancaster and I want to enroll over here. Can I do that just to use this program?
Interdistrict transfer first, and once it's approved from theirs and ours,
Good.
then yes.
So I don't think Acela is a proprietary to this district, right?
Sure.
It's used widely, correct?
Yes, Acela Academy.
So these kids I'm talking about could choose to go somewhere else by enrolling first, and then, so I think to support what Lester said, I think that your level of customer service is really important here, because you can get this just about anywhere. Congratulations. Here's what I would take this. We have CTE stuff now that's real and not just some theory. I think we have underserved, underutilized facilities within this district. I think that we should enhance our relationships with our CTE people. I would like to see people who are graduates of this school that aren't headed to college to actually have a place to go, where maybe some sites. How do you learn asbestos removal and remediation? Well, maybe you study it in your class, and then maybe there's a building around here, and maybe the union comes in and teaches you, and then you get certified, and then you go to work for Bill. And you have a real job, and you become a taxpayer, and then my insurance rates at my age go down. That's kind of what I'm looking at.
You sound like you're talking about our construction program, which actually partners with the Carpenters Union, and the teacher for that is a Vasquez graduate who worked in the community
Okay, so
and came out.
have them build something, have them build something that I can like take my walker to and look at it. That's the next step. That's where this needs to go.
I agree. Yeah,
There's a group of people out here that aren't just special education people that can go to 22 years old. There's a group of kids out here that need this to get their first job. So make this into something tangible. It results in a paycheck.
sounds great. I like
And then everybody will come here.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
Well, your numbers say you're being effective, Bill.
From the marketing, which I see on Facebook all the time, to everything else, it is a great program, especially like they're saying, the trades programs. We definitely need those. There is a lack of qualified tradespeople out there right now that, hey, we get them trained properly, they make a lot of money, and it's a good thing. And my children love the sales program. So thank you.
So I'm not familiar with every high school, in the country, but I am familiar with our local high schools next door. When you say we have 8 CTE, like full pathways on our small campus, that is bonkers.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, years ago, because we had declining enrollment, when you don't have enough kids, you don't have enough classes, so you start taking away programs, and we were taking away choir, and we were taking away art, and we were taking away the extra programs, because when you don't have kids, you don't have as many classes, and you have to pick the most important. And now we've had an increase in enrollment. We're not up to where we were years and years ago, but we've had an increase in enrollment. We have the same amount of CTE pathways on campus or more. I would put money on the or more than a campus with 3,500 kids on it. It was hard for me picking classes with my son who goes to a school with 3,500 kids, because there was just really not a whole lot to pick from that was interesting to him. You have 8 CTE pathways on campus and another 8, that's 16. That's so many opportunities and choices and learning pathways for students. I don't know if everybody really understands how crazy mind-boggling that is to have 16 CTE pathways for our super small school. That's crazy, and that's because you guys have made that happen. That didn't just happen. If you weren't here, it wouldn't have been done. It's because you guys set your goals, and when you're getting close to meeting them, you set your goals, and when you're getting close to meeting them, I'm not wrong, right? And you just said, oh, we're at 80 stalls for next year, but we're gonna beat that. We were at 70 and we wanted to increase, but we haven't even increased it all the way, and we're going to beat that next year. And you just keep pushing yourselves higher and higher and higher. And the people that benefit from that are our students. And I have chills right now. You guys are so fantastic. I can't shout loud enough how fantastic you are. And not just you two, because I know that there's other people involved. Shout it from the rooftops for them too. Just crazy. And the increasing enrollment in our district and in these programs specifically, this is not happening in other districts. Other districts are having declining enrollment. Other districts are shutting schools down because of declining enrollment, because there is choices out there with charter schools and private schools and home schools. Our families have so many more choices. For our enrollment to be going up is not the norm. That's the exception. And that's because you guys are exceptional. So thank you very much for what you know I love you. I'll tell you all day long. You guys are fantastic. And just the things that you're able to do. I've recently talked to a student that was told at her previous school, you're not going to be able to get a diploma. You might as well just go to tutoring and do your GED. There's no way you will get a diploma, and you guys are making that happen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, 13. A California Department of Education, CDE letter, Mission Academy Charter School. Dr. Sahakian.
Thank you. On November 20th, the district did receive a communication from the California Department of Education as a notification of concerns and requests for information related to charter schools affiliated with Learn for Life and Elevate network of charter schools. Ms. Pattison, our Director of Charter Services.
Actually, before you
Please.
start, Ms. Patterson, there has been a request to read the letter from CDE into the record. Mr. Falsgraf?
Wonderful. IT, can you help me out here? I am going to be looking for some names to identify in attendance. The first being one, R.I.C. Reyes, Rick Reyes. Do you show a Rick Reyes in our audience? You do, great. Do you show an Indra Cicerelli? Do you show a Len Garfinkel? Do you show a Dr. Deborah Duardo? So I doubt that Tony Thurman would attend our meeting, but I want you to know that the district did ask and notify that the person named Rick Reyes, that we were going to have this discussion, and that person is the author of the letter I'm about to read. November 20th, 2025. Dr. Eric Sahakian, Superintendent. Nisha Pattison, Director of Charter Services. Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District. 32248 North Crown Valley Road, Acton, California, 93510-2620. This communication was sent via email. Dear Superintendent Sahakian and Director Pattison, subject, notification of concerns and request for information. This letter serves to inform Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District, AAUSD, of the California Department of Education, CDE, concerns related to the operation and oversight of charter schools under AADUSD authority. CDE has become aware of reports raising several potential concerns related to charter schools and related entities affiliated with the Learn for Life and Elevate networks of charter schools. The CDE has identified 18 charter schools affiliated with the Learn for Life and Elevate networks operated by 9 charter operator nonprofit corporations authorized by 16 school districts and county boards of education. The CDE is sending this letter to all authorizers of Learn for Life and Elevate brands, charter schools, and county offices of education where they are located. See attachment 1 below. Do we have the ability to put this letter up on the screen, please, and go to attachment 1? It should be maybe the last. Yeah, the page before that. Let's leave that up there, please. Again, to exactly what the letter says. Assurance, the Learning Academy, and Mission Academy are authorized by AADUSD as the chartering authority. AADUSD is entrusted with supervisory oversight, which includes inspecting, observing, and monitoring the school's compliance with its charter and the law pursuant to California Education Code EC Section 47604.32. The CDE, further notes that the county superintendent may monitor and investigate the operations of any charter school in the county pursuant to EC Section 47604.4. The CDE notes the following potential areas of concern, which are reflected in the data reported to the CDE. We're going to page 2 now. Number 1, transparent governance structure. Transparency in government governance structure, comma, possible conflict of interest. The Learn for Life and Elevate affiliate charter schools are operated by several individual nonprofit public benefit corporations, NPPBCS. Most of them have the same, in quotations, parent and quotations, NPPBC as the sole statutory member, yet this information is not found in the charter schools' petitions or their online materials. Several of these NPPBC, plural S, share board members. There are also reports that family members of senior executive staff have been hired with six-figure salaries. Point 2, Brown Act compliance. Many of the NPCs operate in multiple districts and/or counties. It is unclear whether the schools are complying with webcast and video recording requirements for open meetings as required by Educational Code Section 47604.1. 3, appropriate use of public funds. Media reports allegate several instances of potential mishandling of public funds, which may violate state law, Educational Code Section 41370, and California Constitutional Article 16. You'll be quiet now. It doesn't say that part in the letter. Section 6. The enrollment and ADA numbers reported by the charter schools do not follow traditional patterns, which creates concerns about their accuracy. 4, student data reporting. The schools exhibit low cohort graduation rates and extremely high one-year graduation rates, in quotations, which are reported for charter schools with dashboard or alternative school status, and parentheses. 5, student outcomes. Low 4- and 5-year graduation rates, high cumulative enrollment, exceptionally high summer enrollment, and low stability rates may indicate the schools are not meaningfully pursuing graduation outcomes for students. 6, teacher credentialing, high out-of-field teacher assignments, in parentheses, upwards of 70%, end quotation, may signify noncompliance with teacher certification requirements. 7, grade level restriction based on authorizing district. Several of the schools are authorized by elementary school districts, yet only serve students in grades 9 through 12, which may be a violation of Educational Code 47605, subsection A6. At this time, in order to facilitate appropriate monitoring of Learn for Life and Elevate affiliated charter schools, let's pull up page 3, please. There's a part there that's bolded. Continuing, the CDE requests the authorizer to provide the following information to the CDE. 1, articles of incorporation for the charter operator. 2, current governing board bylaws for the charter operator. 3, a list of the names of current governing board members. 4, a current list of charter schools under your authority with Learn for Life, Elevate, or related entities to confirm or correct the CDE's list in attachment 1. Let's go back to that, which is the next page, please.
Next page.
There we go, and let's scan through that slowly and continue on to the next page. There we go, thank you. Please email the above identified documents by December 15th, 2025 to charters@cde.ca.gov. Additionally, please note that chartering authorities can be found liable for the acts and errors of charter schools under their authority if the chartering authority does not fulfill its oversight responsibilities. Let's go back to page 3, please. Down a little bit more. In the bold, the CDE recommends AADUSD review the concerns listed above and conduct an appropriate inquiry to ensure that the charter school, plural, under its authorization are operating in compliance with all legal and fiscal requirements. And as the CDE continues monitoring Learn for Life and Elevate affiliated charter schools, the CDE may request additional documentation or technical assistance meetings with the chartering authority. The CDE Charter Schools Division is available to provide technical assistance related to charter school oversight. Please contact the Charter Schools Division at charters@cde.ca.gov to request assistance. And let's go to page 4. If you have any questions regarding this letter, please contact Rick Reyes, Director, Charter School Division, by email at rreyes@cde.ca.gov. Sincerely, Rick Reyes, Director, Charter Schools Division. And then we have, as you see, let's go to the next page, please. We have CC to Dr. Deborah Eduardo, the Superintendent, Los Angeles County Office of Education. Indra Cisarelli, Charter School Office Director, LACO. Len Garfinkel, General Counsel, Legal, Audits, and Charters Branch, California Department of Education. And then we had emails to our staff, namely Dr. Sahakian, Ms. Pattison, Eduardo Cicerelli, and Len Garfinkel. That concludes me reading this into the record. I believe the whole record, the whole document is displayed, and just for my, whatever you call it, please go back to page 1 and scan the entire document slowly into the record for everyone to see. Now, as we go through that, I didn't have my comments yet. I'm going to turn this back over to staff. We're not really in the business of doing what's being done here, but I'll have plenty to say in a little bit. So, President, back to you.
Thank you for reading that into the record. Dr. Sahakian?
Thank you. So I'll call up Ms. Pattison once again to the podium to help liaison any questions and answers and support the discussion as for this information item this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, my name is Michelle Pattison. I'm the Director of Charter Services for Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District. In response to the letter that was received, the compliance with making sure that the information that was requested from the CDE had been sent to the CDE via email on December 8th, which included all of the information that was requested. Additional information was requested from Mission Academy, who is up for renewal this school year. They've also brought any of the representatives that may need to answer any questions that the board may have for clarification.
Thank you. Point of order. I don't believe that staff had any questions.
No.
I don't believe that staff, anyway, get me back in line. Turn it over to everybody, please.
We'll go at this point. At this point, we'll go ahead and loop, start with questions.
Would you like me to bring up mission or?
No, we're not going to question
Okay.
mission.
Okay.
Not yet.
So Lester asked if there's no presentation or anything.
There is no presentation tonight.
Okay.
There's no presentation?
There is no presentation.
No response to any of that?
Well, as mentioned, the responses were sent to the CDE. If you would like for me to actually read their responses, I can do that. Other than that, the concerns that were presented to the district and to the Department of issues that they wanted clarity on and information, we did provide that. As far as any additional questions, we felt that the responses that were given and the review of the petition was answered many of the questions. There are a number of concerns that are not issues that Acton Agua Dulce has. And as noted in that note, the letter of concerns, it does not say that all of the districts have the issues of those concerns. One of the examples I'd like to give is that the concern with the charter operating in elementary school districts. We are not an elementary school district. We are an elementary, middle, and high school district. Therefore, 9th through 12th grade educational programs, there is no problem there because we are operating a high school district. In addition, there were questions about the 70% teacher certification. There is no 70%. That number is not what we see when we have done our oversight and observations. In CalSAS, that number does not exist with us when we go through our CalSAS. In addition, the governance structure that they gave us information on, we acknowledge that they have concerns that are related to the broader network, but we will continue to require that they give us the full disclosure of all corporate relationships. In their petition that they have given to Acton Agua Dulce, they do have in their exhibits the relationships with their governance structure. And that is additional information that we've also given to the CDE. In response to the Brown Act compliance, the Charter Department has not found that there are any discrepancies with their board meetings or the posting of their agenda. And as far as the oversight for their financials and their audits, we have continued to require that they have their fiscal oversight audits, and we validate their samplings, and we have not found that they are, their preliminary budget that came out shows that they have a positive ending fund balance, and they've been very conservative with their multi-year projections. As far as the ADA is concerned, there has been a number of years that the CDE and a number of districts have talked about summer school. Because they are a year-round program, they are not targeting students to come during the summer. Students come to these programs for their credit deficient, and they come so that they can retrieve those credits. Now, if the student decides to come in December or they decide to come in July, that is still a time that they are allowed to enroll, and they are neither asked to stay or forced to stay. If students decide that they're going to go back to their districts in the coming school year, they do.
I have some other questions then. I'd like to understand and I'm not sure if you'll answer this or someone else will, but I'd like to understand more about the comment about there being the charter operator and then actually a parent that sits over top of those different charter operators as well.
Okay.
I believe it's Alta Vista.
They can answer that a little bit better, but what I'd like to also say as far as the umbrella of services. Many times, charters will have a charter management organization that manages the charter, or they may have back office providers that provide services. They do not manage the charter. And so there are a number of charters that will have an umbrella organization that will provide services like human resources, that will provide services like curriculum and things like that, and provide more of back office supports for the schools as vendors and not as management companies.
We'll dig in.
Thank you, Nishay. That was very comprehensive. Good evening, Board and Superintendent Sahakian. As a reminder, my name is Lindsay Rees. I'm the area superintendent for this charter school, and I have with me Jenna Eunice, who is one of our principals for the charter school. There is a lengthy description of the sole member relationship in the charter petition in Exhibit D, so I invite you, and I'd be happy to share that after this meeting as a reference. The sole member has no decision-making authority in terms of our charter. Its sole duty is to select directors for our Board of Education, to remove directors as needed, and then in the event that the school closes, they are responsible for winding up the charter if it were to close. They do not take part in any sort of decision-making whatsoever. Our school board, under Alta Vista Public, which is the nonprofit corporation over our school, that school board is the governing body for our school, and that's who I interact with and who Jenna interacts with.
I mean, help me out. So we have Mission Academy here. Does it have its own board?
Yes, the board is operated by Alta Vista Public Inc. So charter schools are required to operate under a nonprofit corporation in California. And usually, it's not unusual to have a couple that are under the nonprofit corporation. In this case, there are 3. They share the same governing board because they're all under the same corporation. The board is operating the corporation.
Understood. So within the Alta Vista Corporation, so is that itself a charter school, or is that
No,
just a nonprofit on its own?
It's just a nonprofit that is over the schools.
Okay, and then the school has, you said, has its own board
Yes,
as well on top of that?
yes.
So the employees that are part of the Alta Vista
Mhm.
Public Charter, do they receive CalPERS, CalSTRS benefits, or are
We
they?
do not. We offer a 403B with 10% match.
Is there any duplication of employees that happen between Alta Vista Public Charter, Inc. and Mission Learning Academy?
Well, no, Alta Vista is the umbrella, that's
Yeah.
the employer. Mission Academy is under it. So those employees under Mission Academy are employed by Alta Vista, if that
Okay.
makes sense. They're
Yeah, it
actually,
does.
they're employed by Alta Vista, not Mission Academy.
So there's some sort of a joint relationship there between those entities?
No, the corporation is the employer.
Okay,
The charters are the names, but the corporation is the actual employer in terms of tax ID.
okay, understood. So all the revenue flows up through the,
It's managed at the charter level.
okay. So what's the compensation to the corporation then? How do they pay?
There's no compensation to the
None at all?
corporation. None at all.
No revenue flows that
No
goes
revenue
to
flows to
Mission
the
Academy?
corporation whatsoever.
So how do you exist?
It's in Mission Academy. All of our budgets are done through Mission Academy. All the LCFF funding is through Mission Academy. All reporting is done through Mission Academy.
Help me out a little bit with it. So if the revenue flows to Mission Academy and you're providing, there's the corporation that sits over it, obviously people work there.
Michelle, do you want to explain the structure?
Yeah,
It's confusing.
No employees, it's just a nonprofit, nonprofit corporation that charter schools are required to have and operate in California. There's no employees of the corporation. You have a board of directors, which is named Alta Vista. There's a board of directors that governs 3 charter schools. There's no employees.
And so for your back-of-the-house services, who are you using to handle all of your back-of-house stuff?
Lifelong Learning Administration Corporation, which we refer to as LLAC.
Okay, so they're the ones you're doing all your payroll, they're doing your HR, they're doing all your
Marketing,
accounting.
facilities, IT, curriculum, the list goes on and on.
What is the compensation structure for them? So how are you paying them for
They
those
receive
services?
15% of our revenue.
15% of your revenue, no matter what your revenue is?
Mhm.
Okay. Interesting. Does that change over time, or is that?
No.
That's just flat?
Mhm.
So whatever your size is.
It's not uncommon. That's often.
Yeah, I'm aware of how it works. How many schools do they manage?
I don't know off the top of my head. Do you guys know?
LAC, there's no management.
Well, not management, but how do they, the service, it's a vendor relationship.
To 18 schools in California, 18 charter schools.
And are they all the schools that are on that list?
Yes.
100%, that's all accurate, yeah.
Okay, so it's only those schools?
Yeah, there's no other schools in California.
Okay. Understood. Are those, do the employees move around from your corporation to them, back and forth? Are there any,
They don't move around. That's an interesting way of saying it. What might happen is,
Did
let's say
people
we
start
have a
at Mission
teacher
and then move
that
to
starts
that?
in this school, and then let's say a curriculum position becomes available in LLAC. That teacher employee would apply for that position at LLAC and would need to interview and be selected like any outside candidate that was applying. Similarly, let's say there's an employee of LLAC that now decides they want to go back to teaching or go back to being at the school side. They would apply to an open position on the school side. They would have to interview and be selected like any other candidate.
does the LLAC, do they get CalPERS, CalSTRS
No.
benefits through them either?
No.
So they're just and they are a nonprofit?
Yep.
All right, that's all the questions I have for the moment.
Okay, so first off, I'd like to let everyone know, I'm going to go through some things here. They're common knowledge. I've been at this a long time. I drained this pool 10 years ago, and I'm not going to fill it again tonight. I asked some very unorthodox questions the last meeting. I understand that 4 days after the meeting, after the comments were covered by a newspaper, that I can go onto AI and say, tell me what Ken Falsgraf asked Mission Academy, and that goes out all over. Do it now, by the way. And suddenly, I get a letter from a state agency that I've never heard of before in my entire time that outlines the questions that I asked. Am I delusional, or is that AI now? I think this is very interesting. I'd like to acknowledge that Mr. Rick Reyes has joined our meeting at the invite of the superintendent's office. I think that's healthy. We want to give that gentleman every opportunity to participate, or the league, where I come from, counselor is a lawyer, audits is like an audit, because the state, this world had, was one of three districts in the whole state with the A3, Valiant, and before that Mercury fiasco. So I'm going to go through this letter and I'm going to tell you what I think, but I want to remind you, you guys asked for a renewal of your existing charter operation. Staff does not get on the internet and see what somebody said or whatever. There is a matrix that is very clear about what we consider and what we cannot. And so I would appreciate the person that sent me this letter, because now I can ask anything, including your children's birthday. So thank you, whoever sent me this letter. I want to frame this by saying, someone could find out what my vote was on this particular charter when the 1500 series, the 1565, the Christy Smith, the Mark Winger, I was in the courtroom when it went to appellate court because the district thought that they were acting on behalf of, as an attorney general for the public, meaning that when Newhall filed the complaint, that they were doing the greater educational marketplace a favor, and that they wanted the money back from this district for their attorney fees. So knowing enough about law to make me dangerous, we know that when you take someone to appellate court, if you go into Superior Court in Los Angeles and you get a judge that is typically dealing with somebody didn't pay their lease, someone took advantage of someone, there's a civil thing here that doesn't involve arbitrary punishment. It's what's the remedy, cut to the chase. So the order was, in Newhall versus Acton Agua Dulce, was that the hearing wasn't appropriate. So the judge ordered the hearing to reoccur. It reoccurred. It was the same rubber stamp meeting the first one was. And I said that in the LA Times, so when you Google me, you'll find out that picture of me that paints me out as some overweight fool standing in front of our school buses out there going through a midlife crisis is fairly accurate. Thanks for bringing this up. At the end of the day, this went to an appellate court because the Superior Court would not grant attorney fees. So when you go to appellate court and all the judges aren't there, the term for that is in bank, and you've got 3 there, you can kind of figure out that whatever you're appealing is probably going to fall through. So it fell through for this reason. In the initial filing, Newhall asked that, or stated that there was an impact of about 100 students. Now, when you file an appeal, the appellate court is not going to listen to a new case. They're looking for errors in judgment and process. But there is a requirement that you update anything that could affect the outcome. Let's say there'd been a settlement. Let's say part of it was this, part of it was that. Well, what the judges found in their opinion, and it's published, you can read it, is that what Newhall failed to do was change the number of impact from 100 students, which turned into 500. So therefore, the financial impetus for Newhall was much greater in loss of income than the revenue scheme that this district was painted out. So I've got a good track record. And one of them is a meeting in which my fellow board members were trashing me for asking the same questions that the A3 group was indicted for in federal court. What you've got going on now is the same newspaper in San Diego that went after that is after you. I think you know that. Don't answer my questions, please. So at the end of the day, I get things that are like could be, might be. I'm supposed to listen to what staff says in a very narrow matrix. They're reporting on that matrix. That's what this discussion is supposed to be about. Any more questions on law school? No. Good. If you're getting law information from me, you're taking a terrible mistake. So here's what I would say. Transparency in government structure, possible conflict of interest. I do not see in this letter Mission Academy listed. I see Learn for Life. I've heard that one. I think my voting record is there. I asked you the exact same questions. I may appear goofy and my stuff may appear unorthodox, but my questions remain very pointed when lawyers look at them 6 months later. It says elevate. I don't know who these people are. I have no idea who they are. So I look at the MOU. It was not until this superintendent came in that this team started putting the MOUs after the charter was approved. The charter approval precedes the issuance of the MOU. You cannot have an MOU without the charter approval. So it very clearly lists that. So in my world, to his questions, let's say I'm running a company and I'm running a 10% profit margin. And somebody comes along and says, you cannot have a private for-profit company involved in the operation of your school. Well, that means we should fire every subcontractor we have on list today because those people are not a school district. They do not teach classes, but yet we hire them. Could be a speech language pathologist, could be an auditor, could be someone that helped review this process, which I said her name very clearly in the last meeting, figure out the math on that one. So that means that anybody who has a private company should be excluded from the support of a school district because they're making money and they feed their kids. I'm not understanding that. But I do understand that when somebody comes along and goes, You can't, I'm still trying to recover out of the Newhall deal, so I'm making my trips up. Now I get elected. Now the superintendent from Newhall is lobbying around on all this. This is common knowledge. Come on, guys. So I get the law changed. So everybody in the charter world went, oh my God, we have to create a public nonprofit in response to, I think it was 1565 or 64. It was one of those. So suddenly we had a rush of material revisions coming here. Everybody did it. It was forced by the change in law. So if I am if I'm one of these people that's running this and I'm supplying back of house services or all that, if suddenly I can't make any money, well, if I'm running a 10% profit margin and I got two partners, I just give myself a 33% raise, and it's just a farce. These structures were prompted by the changes in law in the Smith bills. That's where this started, and now, now it's like, why is a judge in San Diego County acting in the capacity of the State Department of Education? That's my question. Brown Act compliance. When I got here, when I ran, most of the stuff that was happening on the superintendent report. There was no YouTube of meetings. There was none of that. So I know what that looks like. If you're not doing that, I would suggest you have a problem with the state. You don't have a problem with me. I'm on TV way too much. Appropriate use of public funds. Media reports. I want you to think about that. I have been reported as a charming, intelligent person with boyish good looks. As outwardly a lie and misleading the public. But the media said, well, do we have any media that can come in here and tell me whether or not I should vote for your charter? Because apparently they're a big deal nowadays. Do you remember me asking you about how you reconcile the kids that signed up for your soccer program and that you're carrying on your books as student collecting ADA 3 years later? You remember that stupid question I asked you? That's what Valiant did. And everybody looked at me, y'all looked at me like, wouldn't say it was, hey, that's a good idea. I never thought about that, right? I kind of got this look like, what, are you stupid? It appears that way on the surface, definitely. Do you remember me asking you about your cohorts, about how many kids are going to start 9th grade and then they're all going to be there at 12th grade? That's the nature of your business. They don't do that. Why do they come to your school? Well, because we have WIOA. I don't see that in here. So should you hold your students as hostages so they all graduate together? May. What is a traditional pattern in enrollment? Hollywood shuts down. Everybody moves in with mom and dad because everybody that bought a house in Acton saw the price double and triple. They took out boat loans. They bought all kinds of cool stuff. And then the day come and they went and moved in with mommy in East Jesus, Kentucky. Sometimes things like that happen. Student reporting data. I covered that. I covered your cohorts. I think I talked about your student outcomes. Teacher credentialing. Can you hire me tomorrow?
You have to apply and be selected.
I just did, right? We
qualify.
know each other. We're very comfortable financially, right?
I'd have to check your credential.
Imagine that. Well, I have none. I shouldn't even be sitting up here. So I have a question for anyone. This is just anyone in the whole world, dead or alive. Palmdale is a what district? Does anybody know? No, I don't think so. I think trick. If I ask a question, I already know. Bank on that one. It's a I think they call it K, but now there's pre-K and, you know, stuff they never had when I was a kid, and it shows. K through 8. Well, so shall we shut them down right away because they don't have high school grades? What does this mean? I don't know what this means. So, Ms. Pattison, you said that these documents were provided in a timely manner.
All of the information was due on the 15th. We actually received the information from Mission the week before the 8th, and so once I gathered all the information together, made sure that it was all together, then it was sent on.
You seem to be able to put it together very fast for documents that were either
Yes, the
subservient or
documents
didn't
already
exist.
Essentially existed, yes.
Okay. So, we keep saying in California, and there's enunciation issues there. In California, this whatever it is, the people who,
LLAC.
yeah, that. Do they run stuff in other states?
They do.
Okay, I think that's important. Personal comments, take this for what it's worth. I didn't buy into this. LACO is telling us in here, and the state is telling us in here that they can provide additional services. I think that what this does, and information that was given to the board, based on the questions I asked you, do you just think that there's something I don't know about what you guys are doing? No. Okay. Do you think that the introduction of this information, and I don't call them veiled threats, somebody could come up with a better word for me, I don't know, I can't think of one quickly, I'm not a Hallmark type of person. Do you think that this opened up the purview of what we're looking at in terms of you?
No, I think you were already asking those questions.
Okay, I want something to be very clear. Do not take this personal. I don't represent a charter school. I was voted to represent this entire community, and what's happening right now is the decisions that are being made are put together in this letter. In my professional capacity where I work, I would have not written this letter. It seems to indicate that there's something I should be looking at. It seems to indicate that there's something my staff is missing. It seems to indicate that I could be putting my whole district at risk. Those are the kids that go to this district. My budget. Imagine what it was like for me to take on this monster and then later on to be court ordered. I'm the one that caused everybody to have to pay back $700 and some $1,000. I'm the one that ruined the school district. I'm the one that disrupted everybody's personal cash flow. That's where this is going. In order for me to consider anything that happens from here on, I need staff to tell me and provide me a statement from the state based on, they've had the opportunity. They'll have the opportunity here now to get on and make a statement and to say whatever they have had to say. But in order for me to take this, your petition, to the next level, I need to understand under what authority can I be pitched veiled threats, including that there's a council sitting by that's in charge of audits and that stuff. This says something that I don't know what it says. I'm done. Next.
I also do not have any questions or comments. Lester, do we need to loop, or are you good?
Can I just make one more comment? With regard to speaking with Mr. Reyes at the CDE, it appears that what the CDE is trying to do is to be proactive in making sure that they are offering support to authorizers. There's a lot of small authorizing districts that don't have quite the resources that we have with our consultants and things like that. So I think that, lucky for us, we have a great team that looks over and is monitoring, and through Epicenter and all of the other documentation powerhouses that provide us with documents and storing of them, and the support from our charters when we ask these questions that the CDE or other organizations ask, we're able to give those answers because we have those answers, because our charters are working with us and we are working with them to make sure that we're giving accurate information. And
So, good. Lester?
I do have comments. Thank
There
you.
you go, go ahead.
You know, I mean, assume we know a little bit about the charter system as well. I think my concerns specifically are with the vendor that you have for support, taking 15% of your revenue. Obviously, as you grow and grow a business like that, and you have more and more schools under you, you should realize some economies of scale. And at taking 15% of your revenue, that kind of begs you to look at it and go, why isn't it going down? You've added 3 new schools, you added 2 new schools, you would expect that percentage to go down. You're a nonprofit at that point, or that entity is a nonprofit. They're going to be expected to spend all that money or in some way make it all go away. So have it ever come to your concern? Have you ever been concerned about that entity in that way? Have you ever tried to get the cost reduced? Have you ever tried to pull that down in any way so you could focus more of the revenue you receive on your students?
We've had discussions about it. I think overall, if we were to itemize out all of the services that we get from LLAC, I truly believe it would cost more than that.
Well, I'm surely highly confident it would cost you more to provide those services directly yourself. That's why you engaged in that relationship with them, so that they could provide that for you. Have you reviewed your contract with them to ensure that they're actually providing all those services?
Yes, I can
to
vouch
the
that
level?
they are providing all of those services and more. That's just a handful that what I listed compared to what they actually provide us.
Understood. Do you feel that way as well? That's just an area that you should probably dive into.
I can revisit it with them.
I would very much do that,
Sure.
because you can't just pay a flat 15% as your number of students grow, as they add schools. Hopefully they're opening up their books to you as well. I think that they should have the obligation to do that for you. And it sounds like LACO's got some concerns as well about the way they're operating. And with multiple authorizers putting money into it, as well as from different states as well, it becomes quite convoluted and a little bit difficult to understand where it's all going. And look, with the other concerns they raised, I've seen this before, so it is very common for an entity like that is a nonprofit, that has a requirement to, not actually have any EBIT at the end of the day, to be able to, oh, well, let's just hire my sister to do this job, and we'll just shovel some money over there, because we certainly don't want to take down the amount of money we're charging the individual charter schools. So I would encourage you to put pressure on it. And if you're associated with all these other 18 schools, then you have quite a voice you could use.
Noted. Thank you.
To that point, I ask a question about duplicity and roles. So I think my question is to you. You're a superintendent of how many schools?
4.
And what is your salary for each of those schools?
I have one salary. It's based on 80.
It's position. So it's kind of like in our world is position control. We may hire somebody, and there may be 2 or 3 topic specific, like a science teacher. So I'm billing back this school for 2 hours one day and that. So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm speaking to the state right now, and I hope they're hearing me. And I very much appreciate that Mr. Reyes is in the meeting. And at the end, somebody please ask if he would like to speak. But I'm a big flashlight. I think I just put the whole world on, and AI right now is trying to figure out how to spell half my language. But at the end of the day, we're going to walk out of here, and if somebody's going to bring me this back, don't bring it back to me for a vote unless I've got some kind of documentation from the people that wrote this letter to say, thank you for addressing our concerns. Because they have the ability to swoop in on us. And that's made very clear in here. Yeah. Okay. You don't seem to be rattled, y'all. Okay. I think that's it for me.
May I answer any other questions?
I don't have any questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity. I want you to know we do take these concerns and allegations very seriously. It's challenging to continue answering for deeds that we did not commit because they paint all charter schools with the same brush. It'd be like if Hart High School District did something fraudulent and you guys had to answer for it over and over and over again. It's not fair. We're not doing anything wrong. We're helping kids, and it's disheartening to continue to have to defend ourselves. Thank you.
At the request of Mr. Falsgraf, I do want to invite Mr. Reyes to comment or speak if you'd like to.
Could we have this read into the record, please?
Is there somebody that, I don't have my glasses on.
I am not able to speak or respond to questions today.
Shay, can you come to the microphone? Thank you.
I am not able to speak or respond to questions today. I appreciate the work of the board, the district staff, and the charter school in discussing these matters in an open meeting. Ms. Pattison has my information and can contact me with any questions. My email is also in the letter for anyone who would like to contact me. Thank you.
And that was a quote from the chat from Mr. Reyes. Thank you for reading that in.
Can we leave that up there for a minute? Someone may want to take a picture of it. Let's find a way to copy and paste that into the minutes for the meeting. Thank you.
Should we let these good people go back to their families?
Yeah, this is not an action item.
Unless
So-
you want to hang out and see the rest of the meeting.
Thank you for being prompt in chasing down what we need before this comes back, please.
Thank you.
Let's take a recess, please.
We'll go ahead and recess for 5 minutes. It is 9:27. We'll come back at 9:32. All right, now we're going to come back from our short break, and we're going to resume with 13B, approve the first interim 2025-26 report. I'm going to go ahead and move this in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right. Tonight, we recommend that our Board of Trustees approve the first interim budget report with a positive certification. With that said, Mr. Nguyen will present the highlights per the report. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Salkian. Good evening, board members. Tonight I'm going to present the first interim report for 25-26 and hand out PowerPoint presentation. So we're required to present 2 interim reports to the governing board, which is from July 1st all the way through October 31st, and we present it around this time before December 15th. The second interim is from July 1st all the way through July 1st all the way through January 31st, and we present that on or before March 15th. There's 3 types of certification. There's a positive certification where the district will meet its financial obligation for the current and 2 outer years. A qualified certification means that the district may or may not meet its financial obligation for the current and 2 outer years. And then a negative certification means that the district will not meet its financial obligation for the current and the 2 outer years. This is our enrollment. This is the highest enrollment we have so far for the last 15 years. Our enrollment stands right now at 1,115 students. Our average daily attendance is at 1,089. We're looking at our average daily attendance to be at 95%. And if you look at the outer years, it's marginally declining. We always want to project conservatively as well. When you build your local control funding formula, there's 5 caveats to building the local control funding formula revenue. We put in our average daily attendance, our un-GLP per percentage, our enrollment, our property taxes, as well as our cost of living adjustment, what the governor proposes as well. And then with that, the school district will get the base, they get supplemental and concentration funds. And then you also get a grade span adjustment as well. And I'll explain that a little bit more in detail. But for the 25-26, our projected revenues for LCFF, or local control funding formula, is going to be about $16 million. Okay? And if you look at this here, for K through 3, we get about 14,000, 4 through 6, close to 13,000 per average day attendance. And then 7 through 8, it's about 13,300. And then high school 9 through 12, $15,800 per average day attendance. We get a grade span adjustment for small class sizes, and then for the high school, for career technical education, we get about a few $100s. Well, if anyone has any question, I'm more than happy to answer.
Real quick.
Sure.
We said, I mean, with the SLs and stuff, seems like we're growing, so why are we projecting a downturn in enrollment?
We're projecting our enrollment is at the highest right now in the last 15 years.
Right.
I'm just projecting conservatively by decline about 15 students. However, that may change next year. If we get more students next year, then we'll get more revenues.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is the building blocks for our revenues. Again, our enrollment is going to be at 1,115. We increase our enrollment by 60 students. Our average day attendance, our goal is going to be at 95%. We get some federal funding for the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant, Mental Health Stop Grant, Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV funding, and other categorical funds. We also get other state revenues, such as state lotteries, arts and music in the schools, educator effectiveness. They're carryovers from last year to this year, as well as the new state grant, which is the student support and professional development discretionary block grant. And then we get local revenues for leases, donations, special SPED funding, as well as the LA County Arts Education Grant. And then, obviously, we get, on an annual basis, we get Expanding Learning Opportunity Program, which just equates to about close to $500,000. That is for our after-school program. We get the STOP grant, it's about $181, and then lottery is unrestricted, it's about $170 for unrestricted funds for per average day attendance, and then for restricted, we get $67. So in essence, about $237 per average day attendance. And again, like I mentioned, the one-time funding, the student support and professional development grant, that's new. We get about $223,000. Then the arts block grant, we have carryover from last year to this year. It's about $60,000 left we have. So if you look at this adopted budget to the first interim, with the increase in enrollment and the increase in average day attendance, we're projecting to receive more funding by about $1.3 million for LCFF funding. And then we get a little bit more for state revenues because of the student support and professional development grant, and then a little bit carryovers as well. So in essence, we're able to increase our revenues by about $1.6 million for the, based on the first interim. And if you look at this, the bulk of our revenues is LCFF, and then local revenues is the second largest, and then by 17%, state revenues 7%, and then federal revenues by 6%. Our certificate salaries are full-time equivalent. We have about 75 certificate employees. We have full-time equivalent for classified. We have more than 77 employees for classified, but in terms of full-time equivalent is 77. And some of our expenditures for employee benefits, CSRS and PERS, contribution, Medicare, unemployment insurance, workman's comp, Social Security, and then obviously our books and supplies, professional services, capital outlay, and then any inter-district fund transfers. Obviously, our step-in column is factored in by 2% for both certificate and classified. Our CalSTRS contribution is projected to be 19% for this year and the 2 outer years. CalPERS is projected to increase marginally from this year to the 2 outer years by almost by a percentage point. Obviously, negotiation has not been settled yet for this year for both classified and certificated. So obviously, with the increase in enrollment, there's going to be increase in expenditures for staff salaries, statutory benefits, as well as providing more materials and supplies in the classrooms, and then other professional outsourcing services for our increase in enrollment. All right. So again, the bulk of our expenditures is personnel, is about 77% if you factor in certificate, classified, and statutory benefits. We spend about 6% in books and supplies, and then if I get my reading glasses, I can't see that color, blue, so give me 1 second here. It is 15% for professional services, and then the other ones, capital outlay is only 1%, and then the other outgo is 1%. This is our multi-year projection. I did a 5-year projection out. We're looking at deficit spending for this year about $500,000, and then the next 4 years it's going to be deficit spending. But however, if you look at the overall, the big picture here, 5 years out, we still have a strong fund balance of about $8.6 million. We have our reserve. We're only required to maintain a 4% economic uncertainty, but I set it up at 6%. All right. If anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer at this time.
Is this the end?
That's the end of the presentation.
That's the end of the presentation?
This is our cycle here, right?
Okay.
I'll just pause if anyone has any questions, but this is our cycle. We are at first interim in December. We'll know more about what the governor's going to propose for next fiscal year, for 26, 27, for the state of California, and how much school district in general is going to receive in terms of the cost of living adjustment, what the PERS and STIRS rate is going to look like for next fiscal year. And then based on that information, we'll build our second interim report in March. And then obviously, the governor's proposed budget is preliminary in January. We won't know, we'll have a better idea come May based on the May revision from the governor. And then based on that, we'll build the budget for next fiscal year, and we'll present that to the governing board in June. All right. If you want to ask any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Yeah, thank you for putting all that together. Normally, the actual financial documentation would be in there as well as part of the agenda item?
The financial data.
Do you have the actual?
Yes, it's in the board agenda item. It's on board docs.
Don't see it here, but maybe it needs to be added still.
No, it should be in there. If it's not in there,
We can just double check it and make sure it gets added to be appreciated.
Sure, definitely. Yeah, I can definitely.
Yeah, but thank you for the overview. What sort of assumptions did you make for enrollment for those periods, for the outlying years?
Yeah, I've always, normally what a lot of CBOs do, unless our enrollment continues to grow, is we always want to project conservatively and not very optimistically where enrollment is going to continue. And if, for example, if enrollment does decline, then, and if we project up very optimistically, then we have to redo the numbers, and then we may have to look at making some reductions.
You're getting close to break even here, so.
Yes.
That's a big improvement over what we thought we were going to run as a
Yes.
deficit from this year, so
That's correct.
that's fantastic. So the increased ADA through attendance recovery plus new students has obviously helped right the ship a bit and give us a little more time to get all this under control.
Yes.
At some point, though, Dr. Sahakian, if we keep trending up, we're going to have to start forecasting up. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I asked this question, how much charter revenue did you make this year?
We don't make revenues on the charter
So
schools.
now that everyone's gone and there's not darts and beer bottles flying at me, this is kind of on topic. What kind of is the average that we spend looking at a charter by having the attorney and a consultant look at, just off the top of somebody's head? What does that cost us?
Well, district is responsible for the costs related to any review for a petition, from a charter petition renewal, but these funds are paid through the 1% revenue collected.
So what my concern is that if you're recovering the money to do the review, and staff is particularly associated to the review, meaning if there's no charters, there's no position related to charters, and if you're using the charters money through getting the money back to look at their, you see what I'm saying? So there's a fine line between making no money and then trying to forecast. I think everybody's smart enough to know tonight what you just witnessed. That's the kind of thing $500,000, $2 million lawsuits are happen because of that kind of stuff where people just don't know what's going on. This school fails over here for some reason. The other one doesn't want to pay because this one is not performing. There's a myriad of stuff that we all deal with. I think the rules are just a little bit different. I'm happy with what's going on here. I support anyone who wants to send their kids somewhere else, but it's certainly not my focus. Thank you for being detail-oriented. Good work.
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for a detailed report.
Thank you.
If there is nothing else, we'll go ahead and vote. We don't need to loop again. Okay, so the vote is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the first interim 25-26 budget report. All in favor?
Mascot, aye.
Falls, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. Okay, 14A, update bylaw 9005, governance standards. This is a first read. Dr. Sahakian.
Thank you, Ms. Taxoni. So the bylaw governance standards, updated language per the CSBA, California School Board Association. Some of the highlights include, but they're not limited to, keep the district focused on learning and achievement for all students, govern within board adopted policies and procedures. In fulfilling its role, the board is responsible for, here are some examples, but they're not limited to just these, adopting and updating policies consistent with law and district vision, ensuring that a safe and appropriate educational environment is provided for all students. In addition, each individual board member is expected to, again, some examples, in terms of the updated language, keep learning and achievement for all students as a primary focus, value, support, and advocate for public education, keep confidential matters confidential. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion?
Does the Policy Management Subcommittee recommend that we approve this?
Yes, that was the finding.
That's
Thank you.
first read.
Yeah, we won't approve it next
Yeah,
time.
understood.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Do we need to add more time? It's 9:51.
Point of order, I move to increase the time to 10:30. We will be out of here before 10:15.
Second. I second.
All in favor?
Mascot, aye.
Falls, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. Subject B, update board policy and administrative regulation 6141.2, recognition of religious beliefs and customs. This is also a first read. Dr. Sahakian?
Correct. First read. So this policy, updated language by the CSBA, the governing board recognizes that students' education would be incomplete without an understanding of the role of religion in society. In order to respect each student's individual right to freedom of religious practice, religious indoctrination is forbidden in public schools. Staff shall not endorse, encourage, or solicit religious or anti-religious expression or activities among students for class time. These are just a few examples of the updates. As far as the regulation itself, that was the policy. Some of the updates include superintendent or designee shall ensure the following for recognition of religious beliefs and customs in district schools. The approach to religion is academic and not devotional. The students may not be pressed to accept any one religion. When district programs exhibits are in any way related to instruction about religion or religious holidays, the following guidelines shall be observed. Principal or designee shall ensure that district-sponsored programs are presented in an objective manner. Opt-outs. When a parent guardian submits a written request to opt their student out of instruction based on religious beliefs, the request shall include the following. So it outlines specific steps that a parent or guardian should take in communicating to the school site to opt out for a specific lesson within those parameters. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion?
The Policy Management Group discussed this and supports it.
Thank you. C, update regulation 6159.4, behavioral interventions for special education students. This is a second read and adoption, so I'll go ahead and move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. So the regulation itself, main updates include functional behavior assessments have been included in the language. Any FBA to be conducted for a student with a disability shall focus on identifying the function or purpose of the student's behavior. Behavioral intervention plans and services have been included as well. When any behavioral intervention support or other strategy is used by the district, the superintendent or designee shall consider the student's physical freedom, social interaction, and administer the intervention support or other strategy in a manner that respects students' dignity. Also, emergency interventions are outlined in this policy. And lastly, prohibited interventions are outlined and the measures within have been updated. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion?
The Policy and Management Subcommittee had a robust discussion about this and touched on topics such as manifest determination hearings, when those should occur, and the purpose of behavioral interventions, that they, again, preserve dignity and are reported and logged as required.
Thank you. All in favor?
Mascot, aye.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. Subject D, update bylaw 9011, disclosure of confidential privileged information. Second read, I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. This bylaw, some of the updates. A board member shall not disclose confidential information to any person except as authorized by law. Confidential information includes but it is not limited to any of the following: information acquired by being present in closed session that is specifically related to the basis for the board to meet lawfully in closed session, information acquired in anticipation of a closed session or as follow-up to closed session, information contained in communication provided to board members from district attorney, information deemed confidential by the board. Confidential information does not include information that is already publicly disclosed. Those are some of the highlights.
Thank you. Discussion?
Policy and Management Subcommittee had a close look at this, and there was a robust discussion about board member responsibilities in this area.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Call for question. All those in favor?
Mascot, aye.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. Subject E, update board policy and administrative regulation 6145.2, athletic competition. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Some of the updates include language within non-discrimination and equivalent opportunities in the athletic program. District athletic program shall be free from discrimination and discriminatory practices prohibited by state and federal law. Any complaint alleging discrimination in the district's athletic program shall be filed in accordance with appropriate complaint procedures. CIF language has also been updated, if approved, and student eligibility requirements as well. In addition, sportsmanship language has been added. Health and safety has been added. For example, the board desires to give student health and safety the highest consideration in planning and conducting athletic activities. That's some of the updates included in the policy.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, call for question. All those in favor?
Mascot, aye.
Fallsgraf, abstain.
Mays, abstain.
Brianna Texoni, aye. That will have to come back since there was only 2 votes for that. Subject F, update board policy and administrative regulation 6142.8, comprehensive health education. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. The policy for comprehensive health education covers plenty of new language, which includes goals for the district health education program shall be designed to promote student wellness and shall include, but not limited to, goals for nutrition promotion and education, physical activity, and other district-based activities that promote student well-being. In addition, parent guardian notifications and opt-out has been included. Parent guardians shall be notified that they may request in writing to opt out their students out of participating in instruction and assessments, including anonymous and confidential tests, questionnaires, and surveys. In addition, the administrative regulation outlines the content of instruction for health education, along with the parent guardian notification and opt-out procedures. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion?
Policy Management Group supports staff recommendation.
Thank you. Call for question. All those in favor?
Mascot, aye.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. And 15, board comments. Lester?
Congratulations on another role as president, Ms. Taxoni, and I appreciate being able to serve as that term as well. So other than that, I have no comment. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Hope everybody enjoys.
I'd like to do a quick performance review of the board for the last year. I am very impressed with the work of the subcommittees. I think that the facilities, when you look at them, it's not just what you see out front, but out back, everything is nice. The IT stuff is dependable, the roof repairs. The fact that we actually budgeted certain amounts and got the project list done that was known and measurable, and everything came in at or under budget. The Facilities and Finance Subcommittee, you did a great thing. There were a couple of sticky issues to deal with. One of them was, how do you not buy a generator because you don't have the money when the utility purveyor doesn't tell you that the power is going off and you got buses on the road? And so I'll move that now into the Education Subcommittee. Your ability to look at how to give kids an option to get the work done for the day and avoid missing, getting a break. Continuum in education is really important, especially for kids that are having absorption problems, cognitive problems. So I think that the Education Subcommittee, I've seldom find the education group sticking a lot of money back in the budget, but that was a winner this time. And of course, the Policy and Management group, we didn't have to make any daddy rules because most of the stuff that needed to be addressed was done very effectively by the other committees. I'll jump into this ahead of time. I think that if we should, by a point of policy, talk about whether or not the subcommittee assignments are the same or change, and we can do that, I think, at the next meeting. Thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.
All right. The winter concert was a great success. Thank you to all that participated. The instruments the district bought sounded great. And Ms. Benatar did a great job of keeping everybody in line and keeping everybody in the building until the very end. The parade of tables, the PTO, PTSOs did a great job decorating their tables. Miss Yolanda, thank you for decorating our table. It was beautiful. Our growing theme was perfect. The 2027 class fundraiser at the Bellis Ranch was also a great success. A lot of people showed up and a fun time there as well. Again, as everybody else has said, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you all next year.
15 minutes. Okay. I will start with the Agua Dulce Parade of Tables. Again, thank you, Yolanda, for our beautiful table. The district office table was absolutely gorgeous. Thanks to Amy Frank and other staff that did attend. Jackie did get up and represent our district well with a speech. I do want to thank Agua Dulce Women's Club for that event. It's fantastic. I regret that this is the first time I've ever been able to go, but I really, really enjoyed it. The tables were great. The Shark Tank presentations from the students were fantastic. It was just a really good time all around. Congrats to Meadowlark PTO for the first place People's Choice for their adorable Alice in Wonderland table. But all of our schools and our parent organizations and even ADA did a great job representing our district with their beautiful tables and just showing up. So that was really fun. I did attend the basketball game a couple meetings ago. We had basketball players attend our meeting and invite us to their opening night of basketball. So I did attend that game. Always fun to watch our student athletes. They performed well. Our stands were fantastic. Cheerleaders were great. So I just wanted to thank the basketball team again for inviting us. And I did have a really great time watching them do what they love to do. So that was fantastic. I was able to attend the CSBA Annual Education Conference up in Sacramento. That is always such an exhausting conference. If you've never been to a conference of that sort, it's just constant walking. It's physically exhausting and mentally exhausting from all of the learning. There's so many different sessions to try to jump in and learn as much as you possibly can. I really tried to focus on attendance and attendance recovery, mental health. I jumped into a session on school bonds and one on artificial intelligence, and just really tried to absorb as much information from all of the other districts as possible. I was able to complete my AB 2158 ethics training course, but I was told that since we offer Keenan training, that Keenan is also offering the ethics training. So if my fellow board members need the ethics training this year, you can reach out to the district office, I'm sure, and get the Keenan training, and it would be online in the comfort of your own home. So that would be great. So something to keep in mind if you need your mandated ethics training. Something else that is really great about attending conferences is being able to really network and socialize and build relationships with school board members, superintendents from our neighboring districts throughout California, and also some county office of education. One particular evening event, I got to sit for a long time with Betty Lusk, who is the CSBA president. And just being able to sit with her and hear her story of where she came from, small town Arkansas, many, many years ago, with parents that didn't have above a junior high education, to being pushed and driven to eventually reach her doctorate degree in a time when that just didn't happen for women of color. And she is just fantastic. Her story's fantastic. She's just an inspiration. So to just sit and hear the driving force behind that was great. She has a book that she's going to finish. I can't wait to read it. If you guys can listen to any of her speeches or anything where she's come from, she's very inspirational. So that was definitely a highlight for me, was just getting that relationship building. So I'm very thankful that I got to attend that conference. So that is, my notes are all scribbled all over everywhere. So I think I touched on all of them. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Healthy New Year, staff, students, families, community. Thank you so very much. And that is the end of my board comments.
President Taxoni, I had a chance to review something I didn't realize in one of the documents, and I'd like to reopen item 14E. Board Policy and Administrative Regulation for Athletic Competition.
I'll move.
I moved. You seconded. Oh. I'll make a motion to reopen that one. Can I get a second?
Okay.
I'll second.
You need a second it?
I have to second it?
Yeah.
You second it.
They abstained.
No, we abstain, so it's reopening.
I'll second that.
Thank you. I would like you to call for the vote again, if possible.
Give me 1 second. Okay, I'll go and call for the vote for this is E, right?
That's correct. Board 14E.
Update Board Policy Administrative Regulation 6145.2 Athletic Competition. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Call for question. All those in favor?
Mask on, no.
Falls draft, abstain.
Mays abstain.
I'll go ahead and abstain too.
Can we loop for discussion?
Yes, let's loop for discussion.
I think that means that the previous board policy remains in order until there's development in the future, if there is. Somebody else say that because I abstained.
I believe you're correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on, 16A calendar. We have a regular board meeting on January 22nd. We do not have a second board meeting in December, and we also will not have the first board meeting, or the board meeting on the second Thursday in January due to winter break. So we have one board meeting on January 22nd and the next board meeting on February 12th. Are we all good for those dates?
Yep.
Thank you. 17 future agenda items. We don't have anything on the list. Do we need to add anything?
Yes, please. I'll request for Ed Services to present on the updated dashboard data of 24-25, please. Thank you.
And then a reminder, we'll revisit the subcommittee assignments.
All right, 18A adjournment. I will move to adjourn the meeting at 10:11. Do I have a second?
I second.
There you go.
Mask on, aye.
Falls draft, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. Meeting adjourned at 10:11.